You know, it seems that you can't go on Twitter or Facebook or social media of any kind without people basically saying things that obviously doesn't favor anybody else. Now, this is not this is not a follow up to the last video I said I did, because basically what I said there is true. In my opinion, those that we all follow here on YouTube, like the OTRS Centrals, the JDs, and the Alex Centrals, and so on, they need to focus more on the positives and not the negatives. Because if they focus on the negative and then show favoritism to something else that's basically in the same genre that everybody enjoys, they're going to get people on them, basically calling them out for, being hypocrites and being complainers and just repeatedly saying the same thing over and over again, and not just letting it go and focusing on the good. I stick by what I said in there. But when I see people come out and basically, talk up the fact that you have you have the people I've mentioned, along with Sean Ross Sapp, Meltzer and Alvarez, and many others, pretty much being, I guess you could say, suck ups to AEW. Again, like I mentioned in the last video, it's all about how you basically start showing a little bit of that favoritism at times. And when you start showing just a teeny bits of favoritism, or like I said, more favoritism at times, like I mentioned in the last video, people are going to get on you. They're going to get on you because basically they feel like, well, why don't you just focus more on AEW and just say your channel's about AEW than WWE or wrestling in general? Why don't you just make it AEW focused instead? And you see, that's where people have to be careful with the wording. Not just what they're saying and everything, like on social media, like I mentioned in the last video, but they have to be careful about how they come out, and they might, say something that feels more positive towards one company or the other. Because even if it's a, even if it's a positive, you know, let's say essay and everything, declaring WWE is the greatest company of all time and everybody should go there, and yet others feel the same way. Those that feel that way, reading that from, let's say, I don't know, Bill Apter, could say Bill Apter is just an AEW ass, not AEW, but people could say that Bill Apter is just a WWE ass kisser. That's what they could say. Or Alex, let's say Alex decides one day to type up an essay on the positives of WWE and how great these positives make the company and how they should focus more on them. People would look at Alex and say he's a WWE ass kisser. Same with JD, same with Monster, same with the Schleg Daddy, Jeff Shigo, TR Central, Brian Alvarez, Dave Meltzer, Brian Zane of Wrestling with Regret, even myself. And it's all because of the fact that all they really want is for people to be unbiased, not basically show favoritism to one or the other, but to enjoy wrestling overall as a whole. Despite how small or medium-sized the promotion might be, enjoy it for what it is. Enjoy the positives that it gives you. People come out and say that Impact Wrestling has the best women's roster in women's wrestling today, and nobody takes notice of it because nobody could see it, as much unless they wait a day or two for it to show, for the matches, then feature the women, the knockouts, to show up on the YouTube channel for free. And this is where people are saying you need to show an unbiasedness and enjoyment of all wrestling, and not show favoritism to one or the other. Because if you do that, what you're doing is you're basically proving those that criticize you and troll you correct. And you don't want that. You don't want that. What you want is to prove them wrong. Like I said in the last video, you need to focus, if you're going to just talk about WWE and AEW, focus on the positives and not the negatives. And when you do that, not only do you enjoy what you are watching, enjoy what you do more so than anything, but you don't feel like things are bringing you down. They're not bogging you down. So to me, when I see people coming out and criticizing and saying, "Oh, Tony Khan lost $900 million this, on AEW, or 650 billion on AEW. When I hear people say that, they say that because they know it gets under the skin of fans fans and supporters, I should say, that they feel are nothing more than AEW suck-ups. Even if they said the same thing about WWE and Endeavor, and they're saying, oh, they're losing billions and billions and trillions of dollars, such and such amount, if you will, of them. They know that gets under people that support WWE's skin. Or if they come out and say, oh, the overall wrestling business is on a downtrend, and it's failing, it's losing money by the minute, thousands, if not trillions of dollars by the second. They do that because they know it gets under people's skin. They do that because, in their opinion, it weeds out what they feel are the AEW fans, the WWE fans, the Impact fans, the MLW fans, the IWGP fans, the WoW fans, you name it. To them, it's like either pick one side or be unbiased. Pick one side and stick with it and stay there, or show that you are unbiased and don't be so critical. Don't act like you're showing favoritism, because that's what these people feed on. That's what they do. It's like I said in the last video. The reason people will get on Alex for saying what he wants, saying that, oh, he's not gonna, review Raw or SmackDown unless he feels led to do it because of what's going on right now. People are gonna get on him because, in the same time frame, the same week time frame, he's showing favoritism to AEW, although at least not showing favoritism, but showing more, good positive towards AEW and everything, good vibes towards them. People are going to look at that and they're going to latch onto it. They're going to say, Alex, you are an AEW ass kisser. You are a Tony Khan ass kisser. Because, because to them, he's not showing that he is, what he says he is, a safe place, for wrestling fans like you. That he's basically showing that he's not unbiased like he says he is. They will look at that kind of stuff and latch onto it. Which is why we have to be careful about what we say, what we do. I know that's weird, and I know that's hard, to comprehend. But look, I worked at Target, guys, and one of the things that my team leader once told me, about a month ago or so, actually, was that we have to follow rules there that may seem ridiculous, but we have to follow them so that we don't get in trouble. And once I started to actually do it correctly, I got a positive praise. So in general, I know it's hard to accept and to acknowledge, but we have to sometimes, do the things we don't want to do. We have to sometimes, basically, long story short, we have to swallow our pride and just be like, yay, Will Washington's now with AEW. Congratulations. But let's see what they do with him. Let's see if they do anything good with him. Or give him a good run and all that. If people hear something like that out of Sean Ross Sapp, instead of like cry, cope, and hey, congratulations, my man, you did it, you're all elite. Instead of hearing stuff like that, to where they can latch onto it and say, see, Sean Ross Sapp's an AEW ass kisser. Instead of they hear Sean go like, congratulations, Will, you achieved your goal. Now let's see what happens next. If they use you properly, if not, hey, the door is open to come back home. That's what they want. They want wording or sayings that are like, you're congratulating them, but you're also trying to be like unbiased. Like, okay, now let's see what they do with you. And again, people have to be careful with the wording. That's it. Because in today's day and age, like I said, like I said in the last video, the SJW woke and, cancel culture influence is dying out and everything. But it's still felt there. And people will take advantage of that. They will take advantage. They will use that to their advantage. So you have to be careful. You have to watch what you say before you say it. And that's a fact. That's a fact. You have to be careful. And again, you have to watch out for what people say, because they will say things to really get under your skin. They will take what you say and misinterpret it, because to them, they're trying to expose you for who you are. And you have to be careful. You have to be careful, because once they take something out of context to try to expose you for who you are in their minds, I should say, then that's when they got you. So you gotta watch your words. You gotta watch what you say. And that's what, going back to what I said in the last video. Focus on the positives, not the negatives. And that's all I can really say on it. But in general, guys, when I look at Twitter, look at Facebook, look at social media, and I see all these things. Hello?
Oh, I'm at the O'Reilly's. I had to replace my passenger headlight when the light was out for some reason. And then he thought maybe it wasn't burned. I go, I don't know. It was working yesterday, so I think it's just the bright go on. But I can't have a bright all the time.
Yeah.
You know, so they don't matter anyway because they're not smart. A lot of these cars are. But I said, then I gotta get it changed. And, you know, so, you know, he said, well, do that at work. And no, he thought that it didn't burn. And I go, well, I don't know. We don't know who we put it in. But if the bright goes on, when I do the bright, that's like work. So
Yeah.
he said, well, we can put it in. But he said, if it doesn't still work, you know, like for the regular, he said, you can't refund your money because we've already installed it, you know. And I go, this is fine. I said, I think it is burnt, but it's gonna work. They're gonna put it. I don't know why he didn't think it was. It looked burnt to me. I could see like a little burnt mark on it, but he
Yeah.
couldn't see it.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, Brian, so I'm laying it on hold now.
All right. Yep.
I'm laying it on hold. Did my thing come in the mail?
No, but you got two things for AAA.
What?
I think you got a regular insurance bill and then important insurance policy information.
Okay, policy from
And City of Newman and take two.
City New and then they do. Okay, all right. I said you get it as soon as he said it's coming, so I got the whole time my card's still working, so
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.
Yellow time. Okay, guys, sorry about that. Um, but like I said, basically, you know, it's you just got to be careful with what you say because people will take it out of context, and they will use certain things to get under your skin. You got to watch it. You just got to watch what you say, and just just try to focus more on like, okay, how can we make it sound like we're not favoring this side of the fence, and we're balancing that we're basically a more balanced source of information when it comes to wrestling, basically. So yeah, just be careful, guys, what you say because people will take it out of context. Just because in their mind, like I said earlier, they'll try to expose you for what they think you are, and not for who you really are. So yeah, again, just looking at those things, and it's like they people know how to get under your skin. They know how to get under your skin because they're trying to prove to the world. They're trying to prove either like with the Sean Ross Sapp that he's just full of BS. He's a phony. Da 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 da. They're trying to prove Alex is an AEW ass kisser. So is JD. So is Saw Monster. Da 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 da. OTR Central is just angry about Jeff Jarrett because